What's up, family? This is your man, not your boy, Go Black to Africa. I haven't said that in 4 months, y'all. Whoa. Hey, I got a story for you all, and I'm telling you, your man have been through a roller coaster ride, and still, some unanswered questions, but I'm walking in the faith of the Most High. Of course, the doctors want to, label and diagnose and say things, which, there are some validities to what is. You can't ignore what is, being shown you through all the tests I've been taking. But what I want to do first and foremost is thank each and every one of you all for your prayers, for you all reaching out to me, the kind words, and y'all knew something was up, and people were just sending prayers to us.
Yes.
People were just, where you go, Black, and what's going on with you? And there are those who I answered to, and there were just some I didn't answer. Couldn't get to everybody, but for those that the Lord had me answer to, because I knew there are soldiers out here in the field who are prayer warriors, who are doing their thing. And so I want to thank you all for your prayers. I want to thank you all for your concerns, for just missing me. 4 months, we're going to get into this. My wife, she have taken a plethora of information, notes along this whole journey of all this testing. And I'm going to tell y'all, your man was about to turn into a boy. And it was challenging. It was very challenging. Never been put in a place. I'm gonna share with y'all my fears, my questions. I'm gonna share with y'all what I was going through. Because I'm gonna keep it real. And I think I've been transparent with you all for these last 4 years that I've been out here. 4 years or 5 years now? 4 years.
4 years. The pandemic, 2020, August 2020.
That's when I started. Was a year before? It was a year before that.
August 2020. We had just moved back.
4 years. And so I want to just get into this, family, because y'all need to be educated on this. When I thought, hey, the Most High looked at me as special, this dis-ease that they say is a rare of the rare. She knows about it. She learned about it in med school. And it's something that most of the doctors I've spoke with say, this is rare. This is like rare. And no, it's not the prostate. I know some of y'all saw my video about prostate. No, I'm going to get into this. It's not about the prostate. My prostate is fine. This is something threw me for a loop. And so we want to get into this, and I want to share with you all because my whole philosophy of life have changed. And me and my wife have gone through some discoveries within us, our marriage, and we even had some healing in those areas, right? We had some cries, some tears, and we had some, all that. But want to get into that. What you got to say, first and foremost, Mrs. Go Black?
You have some of the most loving, thoughtful, and kind subscribers. Just being on the sidelines and hearing the some of the calls and you sharing with me the text and the messages, y'all have just been so wonderful.
It's amazing. It's amazing, and I know I got those who don't agree with me and what videos I put out and people, all that right there. But at the end of the day, y'all, I got some people out there that's really shown love. There are some, I'm telling y'all, without even you all, and you all have always been on my mind because, it's a battle. It's a battle that I had to go through mentally, spiritually, physically. And I want to share those experiences because I know each and every one of us will go through something in this life. And for me to remain quiet on this and act like though that nothing has transpired in my life would not be genuine. And I'm a man that tries to share information as accurate as I can. And so let's get into it. Let's get into it. Let me say this first and foremost, because I know there are going to be people who probably be sending, super chats, and somebody just sent in one and all that. And we're going to try to, put y'all up on the screen. I have Miss Go Black for that. But please, if we miss you, happen to miss or what have you, we still say thank you. We still appreciate you all in every way. And some of your questions may not be answered right now because we got a lot of information to go through. So you can click back on that one and just kind of take it off wherever you found that, because they'll be rolling in. So without further ado, family, let's say this right here. I got back into the States back up. I left Ghana in June of this year. And that was Ghana, right? I left Ghana, and I went directly over to Brazil. Yeah, is that right?
Not June of 2024.
When did I go to Brazil? In June.
Mm-mm.
I got May.
You got to the States from Brazil in May.
Okay.
May 28th.
May 28th, I got, see, she'll remember those, she misses her husband, you know what I mean? So I left Ghana in probably the end of April, stayed a month in Brazil, and then I got back to the States in June. May 28th. May 28th. What I thought was that when you have plans, y'all, I'm going to tell y'all, it's amazing what the Most High will do to show you that sometimes all your plans may not even fall in place that you have. But our plan was that I would come back here with my wife. She would finish up her short tour with her job, and we were going to go off to what countries?
Oman, India, Turkey and Greece.
A lot of history in there. I wanted to dig into their little history books, kind of find from where some of our people have been scattered over there. But plans changed because we were looking at, we came back up to Ohio to visit family. And, I had this small pain in my stomach. And this pain in my stomach, it was not really, I'd say on a scale of 1 to 10, that's what y'all like to do. Scale of 1 to 10, what's the pain? Like you really know, like that 2, I guess. But before that, in the last 6 months or so, when I would take showers, I would feel, hold on a second, y'all. I want to change this because this Wi-Fi is going in and out. And what I want to do is I want to connect this. This might be a little disruption. Connect this to my phone. All right, we are back. We should be, 1 second. Okay, so so now, where was I at?
The discomfort when you...
The discomfort. So, about 6 months or so, when I was taking a shower, I kind of felt this little dull, little pain on my stomach. And it's like, oh, that's a little odd. And just went on and stuff like that. And when I was in Brazil, I started to feel an ache and pain. I started feeling some pain. Well, in that pain, I said, I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at that, because when it comes to your man, I'm always on my health. I'm not afraid of doctors. I'll go to the doctors and all. So what day? So you got all these dates. July the 10th, they had scheduled me to go ahead and have an endoscopy and a colonoscopy done, because I had one done in 2.5 years ago. For you men out there, you see, medical field tells us that every 10 years after 50, was it now? 45, you should have your colonoscopy done. Even women should have it done, right?
Absolutely.
And they say you should have it done every 10 years.
Depending on the results.
Depending on the results. So 2.5 years ago, I had a colonoscopy done and an upper endoscopy done. And so this pain, they decided they want to go ahead and go back and look. And so they go in, I have a polyp in my colon, they remove it. Of course, they're going to run a biopsy on it. They're going to test non-cancerous. And they get to my upper, they go in there and they say, it's got 2 masses. But we do biopsy and we're going to run test on it. So they come back and say, it's not cancer, it's
Amyloidosis.
amyloidosis. What the heck is an amyloidosis? Would you care to share? I mean, I can go into it and share, but in its briefest term, share its rarity, share what it is that y'all learned and which we know now today.
So amyloid is a protein that is made by the cells in the bone marrow. And it's not supposed to be made. It's the plasma cells that are in the bone marrow lay down this particular protein that can go to any part of the body, and it's abnormal. It infiltrates different tissues. It's abnormal.
And it's rare. Now, I like to be special in the sight of the Lord. As he said, we're peculiar people. We are special people. And I got a special amyloidosis. They were saying that is less than 1% of the population. And this amyloidosis is even rarer if it's in your digestive. Because this thing here, one, could be deadly. Amyloidosis, AMYLOIDS.
It's in the chat.
Somebody put it in.
Anita
Okay.
Oz put it in the chat.
Thank you, Anita. Appreciate that. And I'm looking this up, and the doctor told me, yeah, that's amyloidosis. And I'm looking at my wife because she been, I'm like, what is this? We left when we got the results in, and it was a rush to get me checked from head to toe. Because my plasma cells are producing this protein that can be dispersed throughout your body, and it goes to your organs. And when it goes to your organs, it can weigh your organs down to cause them to dysfunction or to malfunction. And so that rush was like, we need to do tests on you. I'm like, okay, all right. Now I'm looking up amyloidosis, and so you can imagine, I'm going to share with y'all along this process, y'all, because it took me for a loop, that this mass that I have is amyloids, and it can be dispersed throughout your body. So they know it's in my duodenum, which is right off the stomach, leaving the stomach, going into a hose area called duodenum, and then that goes into your small intestine. But they didn't know the severity, because there's 2 sides of amyloidosis, either localized in one area or it could be systemic, which means it could be sent throughout your body. And if it hits your organs and the severity, or when it's caught, it can leave you in a very bad place.
Especially the heart.
Especially the heart. Because if it's the heart, prognosis is 4 to 6 months. You're gone. Done. Bye. See you. Because, it causes heart failure, and then your heart will just fail. So you can imagine now that I got to get tested. My hearts, my lungs, my kidneys, everything has to be checked from head to toe, brain on down, because plasma cells went haywire, and they are sending out these proteins that are collecting anywhere that they don't even know. And so I'm looking at this prognosis, and I'm like, whoa, so now I'm sweating. But I'm leaning on the Lord with faith, but yet I'm sweating. And I have to admit, I was probably, what's the word I'm going to say? I had anxiety. I did. Because I had these thoughts come up. I'm going to tell y'all, and faith is one thing when oh, the Lord's going to help me get a job. I'm going to have faith because, I need to go to school or whatever it is. But when it comes to your health, and then somebody says something about your health that could be possibly life-threatening, that's a totally different ballgame. And it set me into a place to really re-engage and really look at life in a different mode. Because now here it is that I don't even know the severity of this thing. And yet, my mind is tossing and turning, trying to stay focused on, that the Lord heals, and, and that, God, as long as I'm obedient to the Lord shall, prosper me and all these things. But on the other side is like, I got family, I got kids, what is this? Now go ahead.
I want to go back.
Yeah.
So you had the upper and lower endoscopies July the 10th.
Yeah.
And we did not get the result for maybe 7 days.
7 long
Very
days.
long days. And so what we thought, okay, they saw a couple polyps in the duodenum. We'll just wait for the results. We just thought it would be an insignificant polyp. And
before they told us it was amyloidosis.
Right.
Yeah.
And so when you went on my chart and we saw amyloid, my first thought was Pandora's box has now been opened. Because if you have amyloid in one spot, like you were saying, you've got to go and look in all the other areas. And I think it was a weekend that we found the results. And it wasn't until Monday that we were able to talk to the doctor.
Yeah.
To find out what the next step.
Thanks for getting me on that track too. Because when we went to the doctor to get hematology, Dr. Sawar, Ohio Health, we went through all the testing, all the blood work, and they came back and said, we don't accept your insurance. So they just kicked me out.
And we had all the appointments set up to look at all the different organ systems.
All the tests I had to go through. And we got a list that my wife's going to go through of all the tests. We had them all laid out. And here they tell me, we don't accept your insurance. So now we got to go hunt for another hospital. And we fell upon Ohio State University Health, which is better than Ohio Health. In my humble opinion. In my humble opinion. But, so we had to then start over again. Though they kept the blood work, we had to start over and get these appointments. Because we had to do, what's all the tests I had to do?
In order to look at the heart, we had to get an echocardiogram, had to have a stress test, and had to do a CT scan of the coronary arteries, as well as cardiac MRI. And
what other tests did I have to also do?
Should I go through the list?
Go through the list and let these people know I had to go through for still tomorrow. I got my last test supposedly, but go ahead.
All right. So you had 3 upper endoscopies. You had a chest X-ray, an echocardiogram, a stress test, a bone marrow biopsy, a CT of your coronary arteries. You had a PET scan because they wanted to make sure that.
You want to kind of explain each one of these. So endoscopy is they take the tube down through your esophagus down into your stomach, and they look through there and see
the first part
of the small intestine. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then the C was that?
The chest X-ray.
So I had to do a chest X-ray. What were they looking for on that?
Enlargement of the heart. That was when you went to the emergency.
Okay.
And then the echocardiogram looks at the structure of the heart, looks at the valves, looks to see if there's any enlargement as well. It's kind of like an ultrasound of the heart.
Because what they're looking for, family, is they're looking to see, have any of these proteins been deposited anywhere in my heart? Because that's the first thing they want to make sure, because it ain't good if it's getting in your heart and it's going to cause heart failure and then you're gone. So go ahead.
You had a bone marrow biopsy because they wanted to look and see what actually was going on with the cells in the bone marrow, because it's in the bone marrow where the plasma cells are that are laying down this amyloid protein. The other thing is amyloidosis is very closely connected and kind of can look like multiple myeloma, which is cancer of the bone marrow. So they wanted to rule that out as well. So
Yeah.
even knowing that multiple myeloma was a possibility, that was anxiety provoking.
Yes, it was. But the other thing behind that, y'all, was with this the test and everything that I had to take was, you know, when you know how there's somebody tell you that some issue they have in their body, and you like take on that, and you be like, hey, my heart started hurting or whatever, right? So then now they're telling you all these things that can possibly you be affected by, and yet in your head, you're trying to rebuke it all. And I had to rebuke some doctors too, but you're trying to rebuke the thought that it is or could be. You're like, no, I claim that in the name of Yeshua, that is not going to be. And that's what I was doing a lot of praying and rebuking.
Someone is asking if you can turn on closed
caption. Somebody asked me to turn on closed caption. I don't know if I can or not. Afterwards, it will. Once it's recorded, it'll be closed caption. So anyway, so how to even go through the bone marrow?
You want to explain that?
Yeah, it wasn't fun, and you're not under any. You're awake, and they have to just numb the back of your upper hip, and they have to drill with a drill, and go into your hip of your bone where your bone marrow is, and then take this syringe with this long hose, put it in that hole, and suck out some of your bone marrow. And they got to run a test on that to see if there's any cancer cells or anything like that. That was weird feeling because they just numb from your skin down to that bone. But when they start screwing and then they're pushing to get the hole in, that is not fun, not at all. Go ahead.
You had a CAT scan of your coronary arteries, again, to check the heart, basically, and to see what the blood vessels around the heart were doing, the arteries. The PET scan, you want to describe the PET scan?
The PET scan from the head to toe we had to do, going into the machine.
Where you
had
to you had to be injected with the medicine and then wait for, 3 hours?
Oh, yeah. It was just a long process. You got to let it sit for 45 minutes. Then you have to go in there, get scanned. Before they do that, you got to go get scanned and then come back. They put the dye or whatever in you, wait 45 minutes, go back in there, and you got to get scanned again. And they scan from head to toe because they are looking for cancer. And for all of y'all right out there, I told my dad this also when he had his bout with cancer. Cancer reacts to sugar. And so that's even what they told me is it's a saline or with some sugar or whatever, because they're able to see the reaction of cancer. And that cancer reacts to where the imaging can see where it's at. So that's what that CT scan was doing. So, PET scan was doing. So I wanted to put that out there to you all too, that sugar is a contributor to the growth of cancer.
When you had the stress test, it came back showing one portion of it was abnormal. And so they wanted it. So that was more anxiety. They wanted to further check the heart. So they did an MRI of your heart, and you wore that heart monitor for a week or two.
I wear a heart monitor. Yeah. And this time they're doing all these tests. They ain't telling you nothing. They want to gather all this information. But this whole month of testing, you're on hold.
Yeah. It might have even been 6 weeks.
It probably was 6 weeks or longer.
Anything.
Didn't know anything. And we're going to get to where this comes from, or how does it, or where did I get it, or maybe whatever. Some is unanswered, but we're going to get to that. What else I had to do?
You had an MRI of the pelvis because something that you
the
had
PET
done.
scan picked up.
Yeah. Yeah.
The PET scan picked up this grayish thing on my bones. And so they wanted to, we got to look and see what that is. So I had to go ahead and have a MRI of my pelvic done, and it came back negative. They said it probably was from my back surgery I had years ago, that it was probably just either an arthritic little small spot or something, but it was nothing to be concerned about. So that right there. So here it is again, they're checking my heart. I gotta get past like 6 of these tests. I have to get on you got to get on the treadmill, and they want to stress you, put you under stress and all that right there. I felt good. I was breathing. They said you're good. They even pushed me to further limits because, I keep myself pretty much in shape. I work out and stuff like that, so it was good. And I thought that, hey, all right, cool, that was easy. Boom, I'm done with it. And they come back and said abnormal. I'm like, abnormal? What's wrong with my heart? Oh my God. Oh, I make her laugh. I'm like, here comes the chariot. Lord, are you calling me? And it's like, then all these other stress, and the stress test, the echo, the other, I had to lay there and you could see your heart go, the valves open up on the screen. And they're monitoring and going through every little bit of my heart. All praises to the Lord, all of it was negative. And so, because that prognosis is the bad one, you're out of here, basically, in a matter of time, depending on the time frame and how much has infiltrated your heart. So then they had to look at my liver, they had to look at my kidneys, they had to look at my all my other organs and things like that. And so I had to do these other tests, like what?
You had an abdominal ultrasound to look at the liver, and also because you were having that pain. So they said, well, let's just check and make sure that, we're not missing anything with an abdominal ultrasound.
Yeah. Then I had to swallow a camera. And it's a capsule endoscopy, because they wanted to, when you do an endoscopy and they put the camera down, and they're looking in your stomach and they're looking in your duodenum, they can't go any further. They can, it's called advanced endoscopy, which I'll be having done tomorrow. But the camera I had to swallow, it goes all the way through your intestines, even down to your colon, and you just crap it out. So, and it takes pictures. It just takes all these pictures and it gives them an idea of what your intestines and all look like. And that picked up some nodules that were in my lower intestine, or small intestine, excuse me. But I was good with my large intestine, my colon. So they want to do some tests just on those nodules just to make sure. They believe it's just this amyloidosis, but they want to make sure that it's no cancer or anything like that. Let me say this right here. Y'all know the YouTuber Lead Attorney. I just saw his video. Me and my wife watched him when he did a live, because he has cancer. And I tell you, he was sharing what he was going through, his stress and his issues. But he said something very important that stood out to me. And he kept it quiet to his watchers for he was going through chemotherapy and all this stuff here. But he said something that stuck with me and made me very much appreciative to my wife, because my wife has been there with me through the whole process, haven't you?
Every single appointment.
Every appointment.
Taking notes.
Getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, get up early to go get, these tests. And, we've been to the hospital, I don't know how many times, in all these different places. And she took care of me and fed me and rubbed on me and massaged me and you okay and everything, this and that. I'm going to tell you, the lead attorney said something. He had to go to one of his tests when his test came back negative. Now, again, he has cancer. I don't. But in the initial parts, when he had abnormalities came back on a test that he took, he had went to one of the tests and they told him he could not do the test because he didn't bring somebody with him. He said he didn't bring somebody with him because he thought he had to go by himself. But most of these tests that you're doing, typically they want somebody to be the driver, especially if you're going to be sedated or, they're going to put you under for a light bit so they can do these tests. you got to have a driver. And so it came to where he realized he's 46 years old. He's not even married. He doesn't even have a wife. And he had to go to his mother. He had to go tell his mother he's got cancer, and she will take him to his appointments. But can you imagine? I'm going to tell y'all, for what I had to go through, all praise, because I know people coming in, I don't have cancer, but this thing here is something that's still, which we're going to get into more in depth of what this thing is. But I'm thankful, man. I'm married. I don't care what anybody talk about women. I don't care if anybody talk about marriage. To have somebody there by your side, and you got to go through all this testing, and you get tired, y'all. I'm talking about when you are, you're getting these results in every day, and you're looking at your charts, and you're like, and I'm asking my wife 1,000 questions. And thank God I'm married to a doctor, because she was able to at least release some of my stress by knowing the terminologies, knowing some of the things that they're going to be testing me in. I can't see how people could do it, man, without having, a spouse or somebody close who's there by them side, that where they can, be there for them, man. Because the lead attorney, he sat there and said that, he realized he's 46, don't even have kids. What kind of question is, what has he been doing? And then he had to go to his treatments, to where it's like, you got to have somebody there with you. So shout out to my wife. Let me kiss, girl. Shout out to my wife, because she's been there with me. And I'm going to tell you, I know people whose spouses left them during, you deal with diagnoses and patients and stuff like that. Have you seen marriages end in hard times like this? I know somebody, without mentioning names, had a heart surgery because he had a heart attack. Got into an argument with his wife. She turned around and left him in the house. He couldn't get up. He had to call a guy to come feed him. So I'm thankful, y'all, to the Most High. So let's continue. So I had to swallow this camera, took all these pictures, and then we sat around. We had to wait on those results. You want to add into any of this right here?
And even after swallowing the camera, there were more tests, because you had to have the X-ray the following day to make sure that the camera had passed, or where it was.
Yeah. I had to bring it back that same day. I had to get up in the morning, be there by 7 a.m. They put this. I had to swallow the camera. They got this belt around me that collects the photos and everything. Then I got to return at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Give them back the thing wrapped around my belt, and I crap out the camera some days to come. But because I couldn't see it when I was at my disposal, they said if you didn't see it, in 48 to 72 hours, now you got to go and take an X-ray, and they got to make sure that it's not in your intestine somewhere that's blocked or something like that. So I had to get another X-ray done on that. What else? And
then you also had a CT of the abdomen. On 11.
Go ahead. You want to elaborate?
The CT is what showed us that it's not just in the duodenum, which is the first part of the small intestine, but it's even beyond that.
Yeah. And then what else I had to do?
Should we talk about how many doctors you've seen?
Yeah.
So you have seen 4 different gastroenterologists.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen 4 different hematologist oncologists.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen a cardiologist, and you had to see a surgical oncologist.
Mm-hmm.
Because initially the thought was, with the mass in the duodenum, that maybe the surgeon would go in and remove that. But because of where it was located, she said it's in a tricky spot. And you would have to have another endoscopy to make sure that it's far enough away from a very important structure before she could operate. So
she wanted to. Then, so she sent me over to a gastroenterologist, and had to see them. There was some mix up and all that right there. Came back to her, the surgeon. She said, it's not something really that I do. We're going to send you over to an advanced endoscopy. Went over there to them. He reviewed everything, and he's going to do an endoscopy on me, but not remove the mask. He thinks that the risk will be more greater than the benefits, being really that I'm not in, I'm with little to no pain, and it's not obstructing really my food and everything to go through. But they want to do some biopsies and some air just to make sure. So, got to do that Thursday. And who else have I seen? I've seen the docs over there at the VA, because I wanted to also engage them so that I can have records through there, because I'm retired through my disability, and I can save on costs, whether it's prescriptions or if it's anything that I needed, blood work or something. I want to leave that stress on my private insurance, so that I'm kind of splitting it up. So who else? I've seen the cardiologist, surgical, onc. Then I had to go see another advanced endoscopy surgeon. And we just went to Cleveland to get a second opinion. I always get a second opinion. Went to Cleveland, spent 2 days up there, went to go to a HEMOC doctor there, because they deal with amyloidosis. They have a large panel clinic, Cleveland Clinic. They deal with a larger population. I wanted to pick their brain, see what their protocols are and all that there, because I'm not taking no chemotherapy, because that's one of their things. And that's my prayer. And I want y'all to pray with me as well. I'm not touching no chemotherapy. I'm waiting on the hand of the Lord to go in and just remove the mask. And, I've been going through this since the 10th of July, and still to this day, almost through the woodwork with all the tests and everything. All of the praises to the Most High that it hadn't hit any of my other organs. It's just in my digestive system. And what it does, like I said, this amyloidosis is your plasma cells that produce proteins, and just go haywire for some reason that the docs really don't know. I asked them, I said, did I get this from Africa? Did I get this from Brazil? Did I get this from Asia? Did I get this from, when we were in Portugal, Spain? How did I get this? I'm a pretty good health type of dude. Where did this come? Well, they don't know, because they said, Mr. Black, this is rare. You can talk to, this is like what the surgeon said, you can talk to 100 doctors and they're going to be like, don't know much about it. We've learned about it, but there are departments, only 4, I think, in America, that actually deals with amyloidosis. New York, Ohio State, Cleveland, Ohio State Health, right?
You talking about the places that we consider for second opinions?
No, it's those who deals with amyloidosis. Ohio State University Health, and what's the one out there in Minneapolis? Rochester, Minnesota. Mm-hmm. Rochester, and there is, they say, one in Florida in Jacksonville, and they have one overseas in what country?
Western Europe.
Some Western Europe or something. That's it. Around the globe. That's it. So I'm going through all this, family, and I'm telling you, I didn't think I was stressing, but I was stressed. I have to admit, and as strong sometimes as we think that we have the faith in the Lord, I'm telling you, I was going through a spiritual mental battle. I'm in the Word. I'm trying to keep my brain on positivity in the Lord. I'm up here trying to cite scriptures. I'm on my knees. I'm questioning the fact of where did I go wrong? Is there anything that's hindered me? What is, mine all over the place, y'all. A spiritual battle. I changed my diet. Look, because I know about healthy eating, so I went straight fruit for the first month. Dropped 16 pounds, didn't I? 16 pounds came off of me, and I needed some of it off. But she got all worried. You don't need to lose no more weight, And so I incorporated some vegetables and stuff like that, because what I wanted to do was I wanted to do what I had to do. That's the fight. That's the battle of faith. The fight of faith. You got to do something. I'm not relying on just hospital telling me something. So I changed my diet. I changed, my prayer life. I'm changing. I was getting more into doing something different. That's the fight, the good fight of faith. So I was in that war, y'all. I'm telling y'all, and it's like, and I didn't think I was stressing, and then all of a sudden I'm having these little anxiety attacks without it, before I even get the results of this whole heart thing. I'm thinking, is it in my heart? I go to the emergency room because I'm like having some shortness of breath, and I don't know. And then I'm in the emergency room, they running these tests on me, and they're like, you're good. There's nothing. And we're like, yeah, but they're saying amyloidosis. And okay, all right, well, there's further tests, So when we did those first tests of the heart, everything came back negative. The doc comes back and say, well, I want to run one more test that's really going to look at to see. And I'm like, I thought this was over with. And he was like, no, we got to do this one other test. That was the CT at the coronary. And so I'm wondering, like, oh man, is it in my liver? Is it in my kidneys? And they got to do all these tests. And I'm telling y'all, I'm like praying and just staying positive and watching positive things, those who, that I can build off of, because you got to get into that place. You got to get in that place with the Lord. And I already know this. And then so the Lord started sharing with me some things about me, some areas I need to change. And, when you start looking at the ways that you are, you're wondering, did I sin, Lord, against you? Did I do something? Because now I'm in Africa, right? And I'm traveling different worlds. And I've exposed myself in areas that maybe I shouldn't have. Going to go Asia, we see Buddha temples and stuff. Wasn't bound down to them and stuff. In Africa, going and seeing other African tradition. I even took on an African name. Lord and behold, I don't even know if we crossed the line with that. All these different things, you're questioning yourself. Did I, you're just questioning, I never asked why me, because I already know that, the Lord, it's up to the Lord. My thing is, am I soldier enough to walk through this? And I am. And I had to keep reminding myself, because if I don't, you'll go into this dark place. And that's the place I didn't want to go. And I was fighting, I'm telling y'all. And then all of a sudden, my kids, man, they came up to visit me. My two daughters, they're crying. Like, Daddy, you gonna be okay? We were reading. And it's like, and I'm gonna tell y'all this right here. Sometimes you shouldn't even share information. I learned that real quick. I'm getting calls from family members. I looked this up on the internet. Hey, yo, and then sometimes those are closer to you, some friends and stuff. Hey, I'm going to send you some herbs. Everybody thinks something's going to work. Everybody's trying to help though, because they got love for you. I got herbs. I got this. I got that. I researched this. I read up on that. Check this out. Do this, and you could do that, and all this right here. And you're just being hit, and you're just trying to be patient with people, and you're just hearing them out. And you're like, okay, all right, this. But sometimes, y'all, it ain't good to share information with everybody, because sometimes it can be overwhelming. And when you want to be in your positive place while you're sitting in the Lord, sometimes people can bring you out of that. And, Job, I read all through Job again, so many times, but so much I even learned through the life of Job. Those who haven't read Job in scripture, read it. It's powerful. It is powerful. Me and my wife read it one morning and turned around, went to her father's church. And what did that minister preach that Sunday?
Sure enough, preached about Job.
The next day, he preached about Job. I was like, and you can't take things for granted, family. When you got to find the signs, you got to see the connections and things. And that's what I've been trying to do, because when you're under attack physically, it's a different place. My prayers go out to y'all out there suffering those out there who are sick, those who out there are lonely, because we've been here and we were supposed to be gone in July, going off to our next trip. And we now here in Ohio, staying in our staying in a one bedroom with her son, who we rent one of our duplexes out to, and we're staying with him. Short space. Never would have thought for a million years I would be in this place right now at 58 years old. But here's the blessings too. She's able to take care of her mama and her dad, 93 years old. Mom had to go into a center.
She ended up in the hospital at the same time that you were going through.
Yeah. She went up into the hospital. Then they had to put her over into a rehab center, which then she eventually wound up going over into a senior living? Nursing facility. She had to juggle that too. Assisting me with her mom and with her dad. And so, and we were, have been trying to juggle this whole thing of me, her parents, us together, we even had to just get out and get away. We got on the plane, and I had to go sorrowfully to a friend who passed away, 58 years old, died in his sleep, congestive heart failure. I'm telling y'all, babe, is 50s the new 70 or 80s?
Ooh.
I'm telling y'all, if y'all ain't on y'all health, get on, do what you can do. Because they say that I have this mass and this right here, we just gonna see where this came from. How did I get this? Where did it come from? They say it didn't come from your diet. It could be from inflammation. Maybe your stomach being inflamed. We're not sure. It could be genetics. We're not sure. All these different things. It could be onset from other ailments or what have you. Not sure, but I have this thing. But then I'm going through each step of the way from July the 10th, when our lives changed and turned into another direction. And we here in Ohio, sitting and being tested, not only through the hospital, but by the Lord. Because I'm gonna tell y'all, my prayer this year, beginning of this year, was, Lord, increase my faith in you. And I believe this, I'm faced with this at this point in time of life, because I have to have my faith increased. And I want it increased. I want my faith to be increased, because I want to be what the Lord's going to be having me do, especially getting out here and ministering. I gotta have the faith. I travel around the world all the time talking to people. And so I have to even go through some of the trials and tribulations in order to give the glory to the Most High, so I can share this with people. That's why I'm like, I can't be hidden from y'all, even though I'm like, there's a time for YouTube, but there's a time for me to take care of me and mine, and that I have to go ahead and make sure that I'm good, but, I had to go to my friend's funeral, real good friend of mine, talked to him in June. He sent me, my birthday is July 29th, and he sent me birthday wishes, and he passed away 3 weeks later. 3 weeks later, he passed away in his sleep. 58, we were in the military together. And I learned some things, and I tell you, this life right here is short, and it don't sit around and wait on nobody. And I do realize, and I do know that life is very short. As my kids were frantic, my daughters were frantic, and they're worried and all that. And I told them, I said, look, let me tell y'all something. This old man goes, all I got to give you is this one important thing. And that's the Lord. That's the Lord, you know what I mean? That's the Lord. Because that's what's been getting me. That's what's gotten me to get by my life with a lot of, I call serious other issues than this. That's got me along. Did you agree? And so, off track. Am I good? Okay. But, so I'm just sharing it with you all, what I've been going through. So you got your family leaned on you. They worry. They keep reading and on the Google. They coming back with information. They up here asking, did you do, didn't do, all these other things. And it's like, I try to stay positive. I was going to the gym and I'm trying to be in the word. I'm up here in the prayer and trying to be positive and, and just deal with what got to deal with, trying to deal with business, trying to deal with anything else that you can. But, y'all, it's been challenging, but I'm thankful for it. I'm thankful. What you got? How do you as a wife saw your husband in a state of need? How did that move on you?
First of all, I was thankful that I was in between assignments and that the timing was so that I was able to be with you during all of this. So I was very thankful that, that it didn't happen while you were across the waters or whatnot. It was challenging to me knowing what toll it was taking on you emotionally, just with the questions, the unanswered questions, the uncertainties, the not knowing, the waiting. It's very, very draining.
Yeah, it was. Because I want to research out everything. And I want to look up everything. And my wife told me one day, she was like, you need to stop looking at results and looking up stuff and just wait till all the information comes in and then let them put it all together. And then we can just hear what is this thing here, where it's at, what it is, and all that stuff right there.
Because until we got all of the pieces of the puzzle, we didn't really know what this would mean. Because, okay, the heart is good. The bone marrow is good. The kidneys are good. But then what about this mass? What about this polyp that's in the duodenum? What does that really mean? And so that's why we had to have more than one endoscopy and see the hematologist oncologist. And here's another thing. Just going to cancer centers can do something to the mind. Knowing that they said you did not have cancer. But even going to Cleveland Clinic, we went to the Cleveland Clinic Cancer Center.
Yeah.
And that in and of itself, and you're seeing people who are there with the mask and have the effects of going through chemo. And that can just kind of mess with you a little bit. Try to.
When you see people in the hospital who you got to go to a place where, these people have cancers and, and you're just looking and watching these people, and some didn't even have loved ones with them. I'm like, how can they go through this? Ain't nobody with them.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. It makes you appreciate the person you're with, because it's to walk this out alone. I just could not imagine. You got to get up in the mornings, somewhere afternoons, and you're traveling and you're going into the, in and out of all of these things, getting poke pride, getting x-rays, CT scans, PET scans, getting MRIs, getting, on treadmills, swallowing cameras, having, cameras go down your throat, from endoscopies, cameras up your tail, urine tests, you got to collect urine in a bottle for 24 hours. I had to do that twice. Had to, getting your bone, drilled into, to have, a bone marrow biopsy done. All of these things, man, I'm telling y'all, seeing these people out here in these hospitals. My barber here, I just met him when I was here. I said, I gotta find me a barber, cut my hair and stuff. And lo and behold, he has pancreatitis and he had two What he said he had on his pancreas?
Yes.
2 cysts on his, and he had to get tested. And I said, brother, I know what you're going through, brother. All them tests you got to take and all. And he was worried. He wound up in the hospital 2 or 3 times because of the pain he had. And, the Lord had me go visit him. And I went to go visit him, shocked him. He was like so appreciative. Y'all get out and visit somebody in the hospital, y'all. Visit somebody. Visit somebody. That's what the Lord told us. Visit the sick and shut in. I didn't even realize how important that was. And, I shot him money when he was in the hospital. I shot him money because I was going to get my hair cut by him, but I just shot him a gift because I'm like, yo, if you don't get paid, the bills are due. Peace and blessings, brother, to you, because I used to be a barber for many years. Barbers, you get paid when you work, and if you don't work, you don't get paid. So just blessing somebody who can just help them out was awesome. Awesome experience. And, text him and he texts me and just uplifting each other. I know in today's time, there's so much negativity, y'all, but I had to learn a lot. I'm telling you. And now, I'm at the point that I got my kids and them, like my daughters, they were like, all through this and that. And I told them, I just said, hey, we got to just enjoy each and every day. That's all we got is the now. We ain't got nothing else. That's all we got. I'm telling you, you can plan all day long. But look, just imagine, you can't even imagine it. If you're confronted with something that could be life or death at that moment, how do you operate? How do you behave? What do you do? I'm going to tell you this right here. Everything becomes like this. All that other stuff don't mean nothing.
What's really important.
That's all becomes important is when you do this, you just so narrow now vision. What's going on in the world don't mean nothing. Politics don't mean nothing. African don't mean nothing. Arguing, debate don't mean nothing. That's the last thing on your mind when you confronted with something that could be your life. All that other stuff is like so minute, it doesn't mean anything. And I had a great appreciation of that. Let's see here. What else was there? Oh, so the doctors, right? Of course, they diagnosed me with the amyloidosis for those who came in. Look that up right there. And, I had to stay positive in my thinking because they're only going to give you the information that they are they have. And when they tell you that, well, this is our means of treatment. And it's like, I ain't trying to go that route. Lord, I'm going to stay your route. I mean, and I got to have the faith. I got to stand on that. I'm asking for that biblical healing, you touching and it go away. If a withered hand can grow, if you could speak to that tree and it wither down, if you can touch a blind man, if you can make a woman's blood issues, she become clean. If you can make a lame man walk, you can for sure touch on me. And my faith, I'm going to continue to walk in this faith because I asked the beginning of this year, Lord, to increase my faith. And that is what I'm going to stand on. But doctors going to tell you what they think you ought to do. And I'm like, Lord, first and foremost, I thank you that this ain't at a stage that I got to rush to anything. That's one thing I'm thankful for. I ain't got to rush to do anything. And I'm smiling because, Lord, I can see your hand moving. All of these things that happen, yet things that I've been blessed by and others been blessed by you just holding me still. Even giving me the rest. Even iron out some issues between me and my wife. You got to iron out. Bringing us to an awareness of who we are individually as well as a whole collectively. Even with relationship with my kids. When you have situations like this happen, there's a lot of things that come to surface that you never saw before because you now are like this. All that other stuff don't mean nothing. It don't mean nothing. It really don't. So um, my thing is that I didn't get this from Africa. I didn't get it from Brazil. I didn't get it from any other location. The Most High saw it fit at this moment of time that I would have this situation and that I walk through this so that at the end, he gets the glory. And I want to stand before you with a report in that time when that happens to show you the power of the Most High. And I got to stand on that. Oh, let me tell you another thing. In this process too, I had some conversations with some friends, and everybody's faith is not your faith. Let me say that again. Everybody's faith is not your faith. There are people who claim, of course, believing in the same Yeshua, Yahweh, or Yahweh, or whatever name you want to say, Jesus. It made me realize everybody has different faith, and you got to be careful in who you share your information to, because you may be standing on a miraculous faith type of walk, and they might be on a run me to the hospital because I believe the doctors are the way to go, and that's okay. And some have different faiths. It says that a measure of faith is given to each person, dealt to each person. Some 10-fold, some 30-fold, some 100-fold. It just all depends on. But I wanted my faith to be increased. And so even when you're talking to people, let me share this too. This has been shown to me years ago, but I was reminded of this. Not everybody who said they believe in the Lord believes in the Lord. And never, ever consider that you think somebody is living upright. Because even like my friend that I had to go to his funeral, I didn't even know he smoked. He kept that from me for years. And I thought I knew him. I remember he was a secretive guy. I didn't even know he had another daughter on the side. Sometimes, funerals sometimes bring up things too. Don't even think that, don't ever consider or measure yourself to other people's, their relationships. A lot of people out here who hide things. There's a lot of people who live lives behind closed doors that aren't. And then, you're saying, well, that happened to them and they were an upright standing person. Why would that happen to a good person? We don't know what other people do in their lives. We don't. And here's the thing. Doesn't mean that you had to sin because sickness fell upon you. That's scripturally written. Disciples asked Christ, said, who sinned? Did his parents sin? Did he sin? This was done. This is what Christ said. This was done so that this was done so that the glory of the Lord will be shown. It will be shown. This was done for the glory of the Lord. That this guy who was sick, what ailment he had? He couldn't speak. No, he could speak. Well, he couldn't speak. It was something wrong with him. Yeah, I think he couldn't speak or something. He was dumb or something like that. But, some people say, oh, the heck with the Bible, scriptures, and God, and all that stuff right there. I'm telling y'all right here, that's all I have. I remember when I used to live in darkness. I didn't have no faith. I remember when I was about to commit suicide. I remember when I was going through challenging times in life, when I wasn't living in the light. This right here is a small thing, because that's all I got to lean on. That's the only thing that's kept me through this time. This is the only thing that kept me through. And it was a battle. It was a battle. Mentally, spiritually, physically, a battle, y'all. And I'm telling y'all, peace and blessings to all of y'all who have had a heart of giving. That's definitely, I appreciate you all. But it's a battle. It's a battle that I never knew I would be in. And I said this to the Lord. I said, Lord, I was in the military. I fought in wars. I had bombs blown above my head. I was willing to die for a system that cares nothing about me. And my prayer now, y'all, is that the only way I would rather die is doing the work of the Lord. That's it. There's no other way I don't want to die in vain doing nothing. I'd rather just die, if I put my life on the line for a military, I surely can go ahead and be a soldier for the Lord. Because I've been going through this battle and I'm like, phew, I never knew it would be like this. So we wanted to come on and we wanted to share with you all where I was, what I've been going through, this whole thing of amyloidosis. I'm telling y'all, stay faithful. Find yourself, to be in a good place. And, kill all the frivolous things. So many things we get caught up in. It don't mean nothing. It means nothing. What really means, did you help and love somebody today? Were you impactful? That's my whole thing. Can I be impactful to somebody? Give a hand to somebody.
And a smile.
And that was my saying, right? Mm-hmm. What was it what I said? Yeah.
Make smiles, not frowns.
Turn frowns into smiles. That was the word the Lord gave me. Time for you to turn frowns into smiles. Because it's a hurting world, and I know we suffer through a whole lot of this mess of the world. And I've seen so many sick people with frowns on their faces, lonely people. I'm talking people who you just, from the little to the old. And until you're in that circle, you don't realize how many people are sick out here. When you go to some of these huge hospitals and you realize, goodness gracious, man, I ain't got no room to sit back and complain, It's something said the show is better than election night. It's about keeping everything real, y'all. Stay positive, stay powerful, stay in the Lord, because that's all we got. That's all we got. Because at the end of the day, y'all, I'm gonna tell you another thing the Lord shared with me. You ready for your 60s? That's what I heard in my spirit. Are you ready for your 60s? Because we do live in the flesh. And guess what? There will be something that takes you out of this world. Something's going to take you out of this world. Shout out to my father-in-law, my wife's father. And, 93 years old. And, he'd call up on me and he'd see if I'm okay. Just call and see, son, if you all right. You want to, you need anything? He's 93. Trying to make it himself. His wife was, he said he's lonely. His wife he took care of his wife all the way up until, because she had the dementia. It has dementia. He's been taking care of her how long? How many years with dementia?
Since 2012.
2012. That's 12 years ago. Can you imagine being, 81 years old, and you are getting older and you're taking care of your wife with dementia? He said, I'll have it no other way. She's not going anywhere. He fought it to the end, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. He did.
Where he couldn't do no more now. He could, because she became to where he could not lift her. He couldn't move her. She stopped walking. She lost her strength and couldn't stop walking. He calling me, asking me how I'm doing. But when the Lord told me, you ready for your 60s? And I hear his story. He has a pacemaker. He had brain surgery. What else has he had? Back surgery.
Multiple knee surgeries.
Multiple knee surgeries.
Hernia surgery.
Hernia surgery. What else? You're going to go through something. And I heard in my spirit the Lord say, you ready for your 60s? I don't think we're going to go unscathed without something in this flesh. We ain't going to go unscathed. The question is, will you be ready for it? Because I was shook. I was shook. I got something less than 1%. They say, they're going to tell me I have something that's less than 1%. Rare. And then say, might even being in your digestive system is even rarer. I said, well, Lord, you found me to be very special. You found me to be very special. And with that, I'm honored because I'm going to walk through it. Because I had to realize tomorrow ain't guaranteed. I'm going to walk it out to my last breath. And I'm going to be faithful to the Lord. I'm not turning to the side. I'm not going to curse God. I ain't going to ask why. I'm going to keep battling. And even though that those thoughts try to swing its way in your mind and you try to get you to believe that it's something and then what it's not, or whatever the case is, it's the fight of faith. I tell my kids, I'm like, look, you might go before me. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Nobody knows. You might go before me. The question of it is what are you doing today? And so I had a great appreciation of my father-in-law because all in the 93 years he's been living, man, he's been from head to toe cut on of all the issues in this old raggedy body. But we are spiritual beings that we are going to have to stay above flesh and walk out this fight until the end. And I plan on doing that with you all and those who want to do with me, because that's all I got is God. That's all I got. That's all I have. I ain't turning to no rock. I'm not going to turn to no daggone piece of wood. When I'm spiritually under attack, wood ain't going to do nothing for me. This is a spiritual battle. That's what I don't understand when people they got other means. I'm not trying to blast those people, but I can't see how people do it. When you're in a spiritual battle, you better go to a spiritual source to keep you on a positive spiritually. And that is a battle. It's your man, not your boy. I'm about to come to boy, though. I was getting close to being that boy. I got stuck a couple of times, like, my wife be like, you all right? And I'll be like, huh? Oh, what'd you say? You get stuck, like, you be thinking, like, is this it? Is this where my road ends? Lord, surely you got many years for me than this. I mean, Lord, surely you brought me through this, you brought me through that, I got through that, and you got me through this. Now, and just for this right here, surely. But the day comes, we all going to have to say farewell. I even got a movie idea that somebody can run with for those who are in production. And the Lord showed me this right here. Basically, you imagine just being all of us standing in line, looking ahead, and we look down and take one step forward. Because we die daily anyway. The day you come out of our mom's womb is the day we start dying. Can you imagine that, really? How we're just standing. Each day that goes by, take a step forward. And we're looking up there to see if we're getting closer to the ledge. And then all of a sudden you see some people going ahead. You might see some pregnant women passing you up and skipping the line because they're about to get rid of their babies. Yeah. You got some going ahead of the line because they committed suicide. You got some going ahead of us because they just got death row. And we're looking over people's shoulder. We're looking over their shoulder, taking a step forward. Another day closer to the ledge. And in that conversation, in that line, everybody wondering, why are you in line? Some got sicknesses. Some in there because they might be on death row. Some may be contemplating suicide. Some just checked out. Whatever it is it might be, we all looking over people's shoulders to see how close we get into that ledge. And that's just a matter of it is, you know. And I want to be ready. That time I take my last breath, that I'm good with the Most High. And I have this conversation with people all the time when they say, well, what if you're wrong? What if you're wrong? What if you're wrong? And I said, shoot, this is like crap games. If you want to look at it that way, it's a 50-50, whether you're right or wrong. If I'm wrong and there is none, I don't lose. But if I'm right and you're wrong, and there is a Most High, you lose. I win either way. What you got, Mr. Go Black? What you got?
I have a few things. Thank you all to thank everyone for all of the comments in the chat. For those of you who have been battling illness, we just gonna pray for each other. We need to take our health seriously. We really, really need to, for those of us who can grow our own food, I think that's important. Make sure that you're going as you should be to get your checkups at your doctor's office. That's very important. We appreciate all of y'all so much.
We do. I'm telling y'all, if you know, and you're going to see some changes in my videos because of I have gotten instruction to do such a thing, and this is about us building, especially in these times right now that people are seeking answers. There are people who are hopeless. There are people out here who are just lost. And one kind word of the Most High can change somebody's life forever. People are really looking for it, you know, and you all who's reached out to me through text, and some people have gone through the extent of trying to find, you know, email or WhatsApp or, you know, have just through comments on the videos or what have you, and having other people reach out to me from other YouTube channels people are asking about you, this and that. And I know people are praying for me, you know. I'm telling you, it moves me, y'all. It moves me. My wife is right. We have met some of the most beautiful people around the globe. And everywhere I'm going,
the world,
people walk up and say, hey, you go Black. And I mean, and we've had dinner with people, lunch with people. I'm talking about you guys are beautiful people.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
I mean, you know, when I think that this world could be so evil, I can rest assured there are beautiful people out
there.
There
absolutely
are. She's always blown away. Every time we meet somebody, or in the airport or in another country,
or
comes
in
up
Burlington
to me.
Coat Factory, anywhere,
yeah, we really could go down the street, in stores, at the gas station, and people come up or whatever, you know, and we engage in conversation. And her first thing is, let's get a selfie. She want to make sure everybody gets a selfie, you know. Sometimes people ask, but she wants to make sure this is a memorable moment that we've met, our paths crossed, not by chance or accident, but it was ordained. It was ordained for our paths crossed at that moment in time. Because I'm nobody. I'm not no celebrity. Believe me, I don't even want to be. But that people would have spent their time and their day to listen to little old me, and some video that I put up that I call bringing an awareness to, and then hear people say that it's caused a change in their life or their thinking or brought an epiphany. Man, I'm telling you, 4 months I've been gone, and I tell you, it's been good with the rest. And I know that, you know, I've been missed, and I've kind of missed a little of, you know, putting up the videos, and I've just been sitting still and, you know, gathering thoughts from what I think I'm hearing from the Most High, and how I should now engage differently in this whole thing. Yeah, I know somebody mentioned about, you know, the elections and all that right there. I don't get involved with elections. I have the Most High. I never voted in my life. I don't need to. People will even ostracize me for that sometimes. I get it though. They believe in a system that I believe is not for me, nor for you. Um, but the Most High been taking care of me, my wife, family, very well. And as long as I'm obedient, I know this point in time I will get through this, be on to the next venture of life, as well as you will go on to the next venture of journey of life. You just got to do it in faith. So with that, you all, I thank you all for those who had a heart of giving. I've seen there are people who had a heart of giving your money. It blows my mind that people are willing to just give from their hard money, give from their spirits of good words, kindness, spend the time just for praying for us. We are so thankful, y'all.
Very thankful.
We are so thankful and we appreciate it. And so look forward to my next videos here in hopefully the days to come. And we'll see. But we're going to continue on this journey in this fight of faith. Peace and blessings to you all. This is your man, not your boy. This is your
man.
not your
girl.
Bringing you another gold nugget that you can either pick up or you can just kick it aside. We out, family. Peace and blessings to all of you all. Thank you again.
Thank you.